I'm terrible at telling stories. Why am I filming at story time? I was gonna vlog that I was at Clayton's picking up donuts this morning, but I already ate them. Don't tell Nelson, okay? Good morning, and wow, I can't believe I'm vlogging. So I recently uploaded, I'd say, was that a month ago? Probably even more. Really, yard work across the street right now? Please excuse the noise. I will always say that until I get a better mic. Thank you very much. You are so cute. Oh, hi. I am recovering from emergency surgery. So I wanted to talk about, kind of have like a story time, I guess, if you will. So, there's something called ovarian torsion and ovarian cysts. Girl talk. I probably should have said that first. During the time of the month where you're ovulating, cysts can grow on your ovaries and they typically dissolve. There are times where they can rupture, and I know many women who've gone through that. If that has happened to you, girl, I feel you. I've had 7 cysts rupture before. I think probably even more, but 7 I can like count. Every other month, I was having this pain in my left side and it was dull. I was like, I know that there's a cyst there. I'm not gonna agitate it. I was like, I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna rupture it, because that pain, if you know, is literally hell on earth. I've had this dull pain. It only shows up every other month. Here's my mistake, so please don't do what I did. Because what I did was I didn't go to the doctor. I did not go to the doctor for the many months I was feeling the pain in the past. Until the other day. Today is a Thursday, so not this Monday, but the Monday before that. I know that's very confusing, but it was August 27th, 2019. I went to the doctor because I kind of had a head cold, but also this pain in my ovary was like terrible. More so than normal. And I thought maybe he can point me in the right direction, have some suggestions. I'll tell him my symptoms and also tell me if I'm like actually have the flu or something with my head cold. To the doctor, and he's like, oh yeah, let's do a pap smear. Google that at your own risk. And pap smear, I'm sure I mispronounced it the first time. So he did that. Didn't even check my head for my head cold. He's like, just take a Mucinex. He goes, I think you should get some blood work because your symptoms are telling me that we should just figure it out. So let's take some blood work, which I still have a bruise from the 27th, and today's the 5th of September. And then he said, and maybe eventually you should get an ultrasound. They also made me take a pregnancy test, which I don't blame them. If you heard my symptoms, you'd be like, you're probably pregnant. I'm not, but I'm glad. I mean, it still doesn't hurt to check. So then what? That was Monday. Tuesday, woke up, I'm feeling horrible. Had that pain. Oh, by the way, so I got blood work on Monday. I'm terrible at telling stories. Why am I filming at story time? Anyway, so I wish I had pictures to include, but my pain was so bad. It felt weird to like I was like, this is not the time or place to take photos. I was in pain. So in the pain I was in, I'm backtracking. God, I'm so bad at telling stories. So Tuesday comes around, I'm in way more pain. I'll look into the lens, sorry. Tuesday comes around. I somehow drive to school thinking I can make it to my classes, which I have a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. schedule Tuesdays and Thursdays. I I remember that drive being the longest drive of my life. I was in so much pain. It just was getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, to where I got to campus, I safely parked, and I was like, I can't move. I can't get out of my car. I can't walk. I couldn't do anything. I was in so much pain. I call Nelson. Poor thing. He's like, I'm a guy. I don't know what to tell you. Like, go to the doctor. I'm like, well, I can't drive now because I'm like barely safely made it here. He's like, call my mom, because mothers know best. I will say that here and now and forever. Mothers know best. So I call Nelson's mom. She suggested, you know, you need an ultrasound today. No matter what, call your doctor. Tell him you're on your way. So I did that. And then I called my mom. And my mom was like, I'm gonna come pick you up. Thank God. My mom comes and picks me up from campus, and we drive all the way to way south, where my particular health insurance poop bag, to where my particular health insurance is covered. So we go there and we go to my doctor, and they're like, yeah, I just recommend you go to the ER. I think you're in more pain than, oh, also we don't have an ultrasound machine here. What? Then she gives us directions to the emergency room, which she's like, oh, it's only like 2 exits from here. We drove for another 35 minutes while I was in so much pain to get to the ER. Get to the ER. They get me checked in, they take my blood work again, and they put an IV in for later, when the doctor was available to see me, he could give me pain medication. But I wasn't allowed to get pain medication until I saw the doctor. So I had blood work done, and then they said, we'll get you in for an ultrasound. We'll call your name when we're ready. So I go wait for like an hour in pain. I was in so much pain. I was like groaning, shaking. I had the chills, but I didn't have a fever. And I was hot and cold and hot, cold. And then I needed to throw up, but I have a fear of throwing up. So I somehow, of all the things, I was able not to. In so much, they ask you from, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your level of pain right now? And I walked in being modest. I was like, oh, it's an 8 or 9. I'm like, no, it's past a 10 at this point. I've never felt that pain in my life, and I'm laughing about it and like making light of it now because I'm healing. But at that time, it was awful. Finally, they get me in for an ultrasound. And again, I still have to wait, find out what they found on the ultrasound, because I have to wait for a doctor to read the ultrasound photo. I waited 5 hours. I think it was 4 hours, and the emergency room was so busy, I said, you know what, we should get you in the back. Maybe we'll start you on pain medication now. I'm like, yeah, thank you. They put me on a gurney and put me in the hallway. It was so packed, they didn't have a room. So I was in the hallway like, Finally gave me some pain meds. Didn't quite work. It helped a little bit, but like it took my pain from a 10 back down to like an 8.5. And okay, well, we do need to take you to a private room when one becomes available, because we'll have to do more exams. See that this doctor did find a very large cyst on your left ovary. That's all we can tell you. Like, great. Finally, a room opened up, and another doctor came in and he was able to sit down with me, provide me, and the nurses came in to provide more pain medication for me, which was much better. Much better. And the doctor said, okay, this is your ultrasound. He went through the photos and said that he found a very large cyst on my left ovary. He said it looks like it's on your fallopian tube. And unfortunately, he said the only way we can find out more is for surgery, which I can take you in now. Well, he said like in an hour. They had to prep me and stuff. And he said what's happening from what I believe, but again, we'd have to open you up and check out what's going on, but he's like, I believe what's happening is this cyst is so large that it's causing your fallopian tube and ovary to twist on itself. So then it's also causing blood flow to stop getting from one organ to the other. And I said, take me to surgery right now. Okay, let's go, because I want this pain out of me now. So at this point, Nelson's on his way. He can't find his car keys, but he decided to Uber all the way to the hospital. He described the surgery to me, which I am going to butcher how to pronounce. It was a laparoscopic something. I don't know. They go in through your belly button, and then they do 2 small incisions on the sides. So they do, I think, like a camera. One hole is for like their tools, and then the other hole, I think, is where they pump air into your stomach, and so that they can see what's going on. After he described that and everything, he's like, okay, I'm gonna take you back, we'll do pre-op and all that stuff. And so I'm there, I have my gown on, I have other nurses explaining things. Finally, Nelson comes to me. That was the best. My mom is an angel, and she was a trooper holding it down, but it was so nice to have Nelson by my side too, and his mom came to support my mom. It was like literally couldn't have been better. And my only I kept just saying, like, I don't know if it was the pain meds or like this was a genuine worry of mine, was I kept saying, when I'm in and like under anesthesia, am I going to have a bad dream? I was so worried. Anyway, so I go under, no, I'm jumping the gun, this story is so long. I go back and I remember the OR being very white. I'm just stating observations here. And then they got me from the gurney to the bed. And do you remember those old kind of like roll out foam things? Ford Tempur-Pedic was really well done, where you could get this like foam layer and add it to the top, and it kind of had these like ridges that kind of looked like an egg carton. Am I describing that well enough? Well, that kind of foam was on the table under my fingers, and that's the not quite the last thing I remember, but I laid down and there was like foam pads, but the ones under my fingertips were like that kind of foam, and I remember feeling it like, ooh. And then he said, okay, let's count down for me. And he put the mask on me, and I heard the doctor say, let's play some country music. And I don't know if that was really what the doctor said or if it was just what I was thinking. And then I woke up. Isn't that crazy? It's like no time passed. I don't know, how did they, I don't want to know. No one was around me except one nurse in a very dark room, which I liked that it was dark. And the nurse didn't say anything to me. So I was wondering, did you get the cyst? Like, hello? And the nurse started telling me my aftercare instructions. I'm like, I just woke up from anesthesia. Is that what it's called? Finally, Nelson and my mom and Nelson's mom come to my bedside, and Nelson's mom looked at my mom and she said, they haven't told her anything. She has no idea what happened. I'm like, what happened? Was it worse than I thought? She said they did remove the cyst, and it was the size of the doctor's fist, which is basically a baseball sized, because I would say this is the size of like an orange, who's like a grown man. So they removed the cyst first. He said it was wrapped around my fallopian tube 6 times. And when trying to get blood flow back through my fallopian tube, it they couldn't get it back. My fallopian tube was black from the lack of something, I don't know. I'm not all that scientific, I don't know. But I just know my fallopian tube was black. They also provided pictures, which I kind of like that they gave us those. That was kind of weird. I wasn't expecting that. Nelson was amazing, sitting there by my side, holding my hand. Yeah, I was more thrilled that they took my fallopian tube out just knowing that I will never have that pain again. Because it was so bad. But I felt so much better, and I'm sure it was because I was under anesthesia still or whatever. I was still kind of like on meds at that time. And I just remember thinking like, I'm already out of pain. So now it has been 7, 8, 9 days post-op. Finally feeling like myself again. They recommended I walk a lot, so I've been walking. Some days I get too exhausted, then others like overdo it. But today of all days, I'm like finally able to sit, kind of like lean over. Still tightness, but feel like I'm healing very well. I'm sure no one cares. I also wanted to say I was gonna share this story while eating donuts. So it was kind of like a mukbang or mukbang, however you pronounce that. But I ate my donuts without turning on the camera.